Hi, in this video we're gonna be creating the rig for our character. But before starting I have some little stuff to say. And the first thing is, if you don't know what rig is, it is basically the skeleton of a 3D character, allowing us to move and push it around and animate it. Simply that, it is just that, rig is the skeleton of our character. Another thing that I'd say is that I'm gonna be using a native add-on from Blender once again, which is the Rigfy. It is a simple and easy way to create a nice rig and use it on our characters. And we have to enable it. So let's go to Blender and enable it. So here I have the same file from the last videos, and to enable this add-on I'm gonna be going to the Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and here I'm gonna be searching for Rig. And we're gonna be turning on this little option here, Rig in Rigfy. Turn it on. Save preferences and close it. Now we can use this add-on to create our rig. This is gonna be a bit weird because I'm doing a voiceover this time because I had some troubles trying to record this. But we're gonna be adding a rig based on armature. We're gonna be adding an armature of the type human meta ring according to the Rigfy add-on that we used. And we're gonna be moving the joints of the rig according to the joints of the mesh. So the knees have to be around the knees, the ankles have to be around the ankles, and just like that for the rest of the body. Here for the boobs, I mean it's not boobs, just the chest because my character doesn't have boobs, but you got it. I have to adjust it according to the mesh. We're gonna be adjusting the whole armature according to the mesh of our character. So we're gonna be making the joints of the rig at the same place of the joints of the mesh. So you can see what I'm doing with this part of next to the shoulders, and here with the shoulders, and then we're gonna be starting doing the arms too, which is gonna be the same process. Make sure it looks nice and similar to the first mesh, because it has to be similar to the mesh because it's the skeleton. Here for the rest of the arm, I'm gonna be making sure the joints are matching the joints of the mesh. Same thing for the hands, I'm gonna scale it down, rotate and replace. Same thing for the elbows, make sure it's aligned with the joints of the mesh. And I'm gonna be adjusting the hands according to my model and according to the joints of my model. But of course following a nice flow, because the rig has to be a nice flow like this. It has to be a bit curved so we can make some nice curves when using it, you know. It's gonna be bending in the future. And I'm gonna be making sure the fingers are matching the mesh fingers, because everything in the rig has to be matching with the mesh because it's basically a skeleton. This video may sound a bit strange because I'm doing a voiceover. I couldn't record because usually I record what I say while I'm doing the stuff. So I'm recording the rig and I would be explaining it. But I couldn't do it because my laptop was lagging a lot. It was crashing and I couldn't do it. So I first recorded all of the process and I'm doing a voiceover. But it's just that here you can see that I'm making sure the fingers and the wrist are matching the joints of the mesh. It's gonna be just that, like the joints of the rig knee has to be matching the joints the mesh knee. Same thing for the fingers. Make sure the fingers are inside the fingers, like the fingers from the rig has to be inside the fingers from the mesh. And then we're gonna be adjusting it, making sure it looks nice and according to the mesh and to the joints. I don't have much to explain right now because we just added a meta ring with a human body, and we have to adjust the whole rig according to our mesh, according to the body of our character. And to do that, we just have to move around and make sure the joints of the rig are matching the joints of the mesh. It's just that. So make sure to be following a nice flow and try to make everything as clean as possible, and make sure that the rig, like the bones of the rig, are inside the mesh. It's not a big problem if some parts are outside of the mesh, like just a bit. But if you can put it inside the mesh, it's gonna be okay. And it's gonna be the same thing for the face. It's gonna be a bit complicated, so I recommend you to first scale it down, rotate and move. You can do the same process for the neck, like this. You can follow my structure of my skeleton. And I'm gonna be starting by the ears, so I'm gonna be moving it around and make sure it matches, the size and format of the ear. Just like this. It doesn't have a joint, but it has to be inside of the ear. And I'm gonna hide it so I can have a cleaner viewport. And for the face, I'm gonna be starting with the nose and mouth. So I'm gonna be moving them around. These ones were the teeth and tongue bones. I'm gonna be hiding them because I'm not gonna be using them right now. I'm gonna be using them later. But for now, I'm gonna be adjusting the nose, the areas of the nose and the mouth. I'm gonna be moving the eyes a bit down. I'm not gonna be editing them right now, it's gonna be soon. But let me just move it down just to have a little idea. And now for the eyebrows, we have to clean space and get a bit more space to work. So I'm moving these bones up and creating a bit more spacing between the eyes and the forehead. And I'm gonna be placing the eyebrows around the eyebrows, like the eyebrows from the rig have to be around and inside the eyebrows from the mesh. It's just that. And also make sure to create a format, a shape that matches with the original shape of the eyebrow from your character. Because it has to be pretty smooth and according to the mesh, because as I said, it's the skeleton. And usually skeletons are according to the body of the person, you know? That's how things are. So just make sure to move it around and have a nice looking. I'm gonna be hiding the eyebrows to have a bit more work, to have a bit more space to work. And the bones of the cheeks and this part here of the head, I'm gonna be moving them around so I can have more space to work and have things more organized, and also following a nice flow. Here for the mouth, I'm gonna be following the same idea. I'm gonna be moving the bones around and matching with the original mouth of the mesh. So here it has to be matching with this, and this part here has to be matching with this, and basically just that. It has to be a bit inside of the mesh, like this, and basically it's just that. Here for the corner, I'm gonna be make sure it's right there, like placed in a good way. And for the chin, it's something simple, so I'm just gonna be moving it a bit around like this. And this connection in between the mouth and nose has to be clean too. I'm gonna be hiding the mouth so I can work a bit better with more space. I'm gonna edit the bones of the cheeks. And for the eyes, it's gonna be the same thing as we did with the mouth. We have to place the bones around like this. And we have to follow the same shape and same flow from the mesh. From the side view, we have to adjust it too, because it has to be completely according to the mesh. And I think this is looking good. I think this is enough for now. I'm just gonna have to adjust some little details to make sure it matches the mesh, because the bones have to be touching the mesh, or else it's gonna be create some problems in the future. This is probably enough for the eyes, so I think that's all. And here for the eyes, the eyes itself, I'm gonna be applying the mirror modifier, and I'm gonna be going to the edit mode, select one entire eye, and press P to separate it. And then I'm gonna be setting origin to inside the mesh. because we're gonna be moving this little bone to inside the eyes. And same thing for the other eyes. To apply the mirror modifier, you just have to press Ctrl A on the modifier. And for the teeth and tongue, I'm gonna be just moving them around and doing basically the same thing. Move around, scale it down, rotate, and make sure it's like close enough to the mesh. Same thing for the tongue. You're gonna be following the same shape and adjusting it. So I think this is enough for the tongue, and this is the final rig, at least just for now. I'm gonna rename this as a Felix rig sample 1. I'm gonna go into data and generate rig, because this is gonna be creating a better rig for our character, just like this. So this is a better and final rig. I'm gonna rename this as Felix rig, and I'm gonna be setting in front. I'm gonna hide the first rig, and this little option here that appeared, I'm gonna be moving them to the Felix folder. And the final rig that we've just created, I'm gonna select the mesh and then the rig, Ctrl P with automatic weights. This is gonna be making the mesh be parented to the rig and move around. So now it is supposed to be moving in a nice way, and it is. The feet are moving okay, the legs, the waist. It is probably everything working just fine, but we have to parent the eyes and teeth to the bones of the skeleton. So I'm gonna be selecting the upper teeth bone, and then I'm gonna be selecting the upper teeth mesh, and I'm gonna select the rig, and then Ctrl P bone, and then the same thing for the bottom teeth. And now it is supposed to be working just fine, and it is. We're gonna be doing the same thing for the eyes really soon. So I'm gonna be setting up this little option right here, so I can have some extra bones and work with them. Like this, I'm gonna select one bone, this one, and then I'm gonna go into the object mode, select the eyes, and then the mesh, and then Ctrl P bone. And then the same thing for the other eyes. And now it is supposed to be working. And it is. It can rotate the eyes. The eyelids are a bit weird. I'm gonna have to fix it, and we're gonna be having to fix the final rig just a bit. Like, we're gonna be selecting the first rig, and then we're gonna be recreating them just a bit different. Oh, we have to parent the hair to the bone of the head, just like we did with the teeth and eyes. It is not hard. I'm gonna be creating a new folder just for the rig and move it inside the folder of the whole body. And it's basically just that. And that's all for this video. We have the character with the rig and skeleton in general finished. Now we can move it around and pose it around and do whatever you want. Literally. So I hope you got something similar to this, and that this video was useful and easy to understand. If you had any problems, you can comment down here. I'm gonna be trying to answer you. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and the next video is going to be the UV mapping, which is gonna be kinda easy, but a bit boring too. So make sure to be following me so you're not gonna be missing this video. And that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video. Bye.